The hardest thing about any new API is explaining the benefits of that API to people who aren't really familiar with it. So what I would like to do is explain Gigaspace's newest widget, the Document API, and show you a little bit about why you would use it. Because once you understand why, how becomes pretty obvious. The key concept behind a tuple space, the core data concept in Gigaspace's Zap, is that it's a collection of properties. Normally those properties are typed, so they get mapped to a POJO or PONO or any other kind of object by the client API. The Document API changes that in a few fundamental ways, and very valuable ways. For one thing, the mapping step changes. Instead of mapping to a specific type with a specific structure, a document has effectively no enforced structure. Therefore, adding properties to your types really becomes just a matter of setting a property or removing it, as you can see here. Well, what the Document API requires from you is really pretty simple. Because it's a map of properties, a property can be any type, and you can just set those properties as you want. It gets a little bit verbose if you go directly to the API as we do here, but you find the power just really by far exceeds the little bit of extra code. And if you use something like Groovy, it becomes much even easier. From an application standpoint, a configuration standpoint, all you really need to do is just tell it you have a type. Here I'm declaring a type named player, and you can set things like an ID, UUID, or an index of different types, or a routing field. And really, we don't have to do anything past this. We define a lot of different fields here that have nothing to do with the actual metadata being given to the space, because these aren't, very few of these are actually being used by the application platform itself to do specific, routing or indexing features. As far as what you can do with the Document API, well, really anything. You can read data and write data, obviously. You can query as deeply into the structure as you like. I mean, here we're doing a query on the first level, but here we're querying an object that's actually nested inside of the player. Really, you can do anything, and you can actually map events through the same kind of structure. So you could say anytime a document is written into the space that has an attribute of this, and you perform this operation. And that means that you can write anything into the space, and anytime you want something to happen, you just add that data item to a document, write it back into the space, and all of a sudden the event handlers will get it and process it and do whatever. Plus, you no longer are tied to your actual data structure. With this, if we change the format of a player, we have an upgrade step. It's not that difficult. You can do a rolling upgrade, but there is, some additional work. Whereas here, with the Document API, all we have to do is pull it from the space, add a new property, whatever. We could actually, do a new one ourselves, just by setting a property and setting something like this. This is perfectly legitimate, and will actually get written into the space, and it can be used for indexing or routing or event handling, whatever we like, without any issue at all. And there's no upgrade process involved here. We just write the data in, we pull it out. Hopefully this is a real quick introduction as to what the Document API is and how it can be used. Thank you very much.